Good morning. A friend of mine asked me, what does LumaLogica mean? Where did that come from? So I thought I'd take a few minutes this morning to explain what the name of the blog means and how it came about. For me, Luma is light, and for me, it's always been about light. It's always been about the light of the heart, the light of the soul. Shortly before my grandmother passed away, she gave me an incredible gift. She looked me in the eyes, and it was as if she had opened up that door, that window to the soul, and allowed me to see who she really is. And it was pure light. And it took me another 10 years to realize that she was actually giving me a message that you are light. Every one of us is. We are light. So that's where Luma comes from. It's the light of the heart, the light of the soul. And logica is the powers of the mind, because we need both. And we have achieved so much with our intellectual powers. I mean, we have built cities. We can travel across the planet in a number of mere hours. We can communicate with thousands of people instantly. We have put a man on the moon. We have actually shrunk this planet into a global village. But the powers of the mind are not enough. They're insufficient for the work that is in front of us. We now because we have also created some incredible challenges for ourselves. We have an environmental crisis that, if left unchecked, will start to threaten our survival on this planet. There's a tremendous amount of social injustice. The disparity between rich and poor is growing rather than diminishing. We live in a world that is full of conflict, and conflict on all levels. And it has become so enmeshed in our experience that we have kind of stopped thinking that there is another way to go about things. It's hard for us to even imagine. What would a justice system look like if it's not conflictive? So these are the questions that I'm exploring, and the things that I'm investigating is, how do we bring the heart and the mind back together? How do we integrate the head and the heart? In Chinese, it's one word. It's Shinto, which means heart head. And in Western thinking, we've separated them. They're two different things. But can you imagine what would happen if we were able to harness the powers of the mind to the light of the soul, to the light of the heart? Imagine what we could do. Imagine if we created an economic system where people are not mere consumers, mindlessly consuming goods, but actually creative, intelligent beings who can come together and find innovative ways to meet their needs. What if we created an education system that viewed every single child as a mine, as a treasure full of gifts and talents and capacities? And what if we understood that the development of society depends on every single one of those children developing their capacities? What if we created a world in which neighborhoods actually acted like neighborhoods, in which you've got a little area, a little village, a neighborhood where everyone is welcome and everyone is valued, and we all come together and find ways to make it a vibrant, live, full of energy place to live? These things are possible, but not with the mind alone. This world needs many things. And one of the things that I see and that I'm exploring and working on is, how do you bring that mind and the heart together? We need to start looking at not just what we are doing, but how we are doing it and why. And how do we tap into that energy and that spirit that is released when the heart is engaged? So these are the questions that I'm looking at. These are the things that I'm exploring. And I invite you to join me on this journey. So sign up for the newsletter, put a comment in the comments, Subscribe to the RSS feed. Join the conversation. We welcome you.